Welcome back to the channel. Our little Subaru is back for a problem that it's had for quite some time. A few years, I was told. The air conditioning works for about 10 minutes and then quits. Well, we've had a very hot summer, so they kind of want it fixed. Now, they did take it to somebody who could do it cheaper. Actually, they didn't even ask me. I just get the leftovers. And the other person loaded up the parts cannon and fired away, and they missed. So, bad news is, it still isn't fixed. Good news is, I know that it probably doesn't need a condenser, an expansion valve, or a pressure sensor. So let's find out what it really does need and see if we can get it fixed. And then we got some other stuff to do to it. So we had our AC running for a while and the compressor finally quit. The cooling fans are still running. So we're gonna test it right at the compressor to see if we have power to the clutch, see if it's commanding the clutch on, and if it is, we know the rest of the system's working, and we just have a bad clutch. So we could back probe it, but this is much easier. Plug it back in. Still nothing. So we know the whole system is commanding it on and it's just not working. We got a bad clutch. Probably cheaper to buy a whole compressor, so I'll be back when I find out and have some parts. So we got our compressor. Actually, it's the whole compressor, not just the clutch, even though we could probably get away with just the clutch. It's actually cheaper to buy the whole thing and easier on me. So now we're gonna pump down the system and change out our compressor. Looks like a pretty simple job, so let's get it done. First things first, I guess we should make sure we got the right compressor. Part stores never give you the wrong parts. Yeah, we don't need those. Looks right from here. Let's get it done. We'll pull the caps off our high and low ports for our AC. We're gonna throw our AC machine on here and get it pumped down while we're working on it. And hopefully we don't get ahead of the machine or we're gonna get a face full of Freon. Usually not a problem, since it usually takes a while to get to the compressor, but this one's a pretty easy job right here on the top. We'll set it to recover and see if we had a full charge in there. It's doing its thing, so we'll head over and start pulling our compressor off. Little shield here at the top. Somebody's been here before. There's supposed to be a little plastic push pin that slides into the grommet on the passenger side, but it didn't survive the last guy that worked on it. Pull that little bracket off, lift it up, unplug our compressor, and unclip our wiring harness from the back of the compressor. We'll take the tension off the belt. And slip the belt off one of these pulleys. Now we can start unbolting our compressor. Pull our lines off. Hopefully our AC machine is done. And we didn't get a face full of Freon. And that's it. Our compressor's off. Oh, the last guy left us a spare bolt way down there. We'll get that out in case we need it. Go gadget, magnetic fingers. Removing this extra weight should improve fuel economy and performance. Don't know where it goes. Maybe we'll find its place. Till then,
We'll drop our new compressor in here, and we'll start all of our bolts. Start this one down in the front because it's the hardest one to get to. Got one more in the back here, and one more over here. It doesn't seem to want to thread in there straight. We'll start the other one in the front. Now that back one goes in like it should. Now they're all started. We can tighten everything up. Slip our belt back on. It's up on the tensioner. Slip it over that idler pulley. And make sure it's in the grooves where it belongs on all the rest of our pulleys. We can bolt our little bracket down for our cover. And put our little cover back on with the only bolt that's still here. The other side will just stay on with thoughts and prayers. We got to pull the wiring harness clip off our old compressor. Just squeeze the tabs on the back and pop them out of there. Pull our O-rings off. We need to swap them out. These are a little old and crusty, and we don't need any leaks. Since we did have a full charge, which makes sense since somebody did just put a condenser in this thing. I would imagine they recharged it when they were done. Our new compressor came with O-rings, but I don't want to destroy these just in case the ones it came with aren't the ones that belong in here. Every once in a while the parts stores don't give you the right parts. I know, hard to believe. So in case we got to match them up, we'll try to leave these in one piece. But since they're more like plastic now instead of rubber O-rings, there's no guarantees they're coming out in one piece. But I'm doing my best. Slip our little clips in here for our wiring harness. And we'll slip our new O-rings on there. That one fits. And so does that one. They're a different color, but they'll work. We can clip our wiring harness in. We'll pull the little shipping caps out of our compressor. I put these on there to keep the freshness in. And I leave them on there to keep the junk from falling in there while I'm working on it. Pull the little rubber baby buggy bumpers out. And we can install our lines. Plug in our clutch while we're here. Start the bolt. And torque it down to manufacturer specs. Slip our other line in there. And tighten that one down. That's it. Our job is done, except for refilling the system. So we'll set this thing to charge and let it do its thing. And then we can perform the best part of any AC repair on a hot day, the test drive. Sit in the air conditioning for a while. The car's been running, the system is full. We can disconnect it all. Put the caps back on. And we're completely finished with our AC repair.
So our AC has been blowing nice and cold for about 20 minutes now, so I'm gonna call it good. We'll test it a little bit more later when we take it on a test drive after we get done with our brakes. And if you've been here before, you know how we do brake jobs. So let's get it done. I didn't forget it this time. Should be a pretty quick brake job. Must be a new safety feature. Best investment ever.
So our brake job is done, our AC is done. We've crossed everything off the list. But the last time I had it in here, the washer fluid light was on and I filled it up. And it slowly managed to leak everything out before I even delivered the car. So I figured next time I was in here, I'd take a look at it. So the washer bottle's under here. That's where our puddle was. So we'll pull the fender liner back just so we can see what's going on in here. And it's not leaking. Probably because there's nothing in it. I don't see any holes. So we'll put a little Gatorade in here and see what we can see. And we have a leak starting on that lower pump. Up, and when you touch it, it makes it worse. Looks like there's a little crack in that hose. We got a little pick. We'll pull it off of there. We don't want to break the end of that nozzle off. We're doing this for free. We don't want to cost any money for ourselves. Plug it off with our finger. And we're just going to cut the hose a little bit shorter. Get rid of that hole that's in there. Yeah, it looks good right there. We'll slip our hose back on the pump. And our leak is gone. Everything else looks good under here. Pull a little extra hose down. Not sure what that's supposed to be, but it's not leaking, so I'm leaving it alone. Stick our wheel liner back up here. And since there's nothing dripping, I'm thinking we got our leak. There's our brake pads. I think it was about time to change them. I don't know. Maybe we could have made it around the block. Especially that one. That was the right rear.
So let's take a minute to call out those shady shops that are changing parts that don't fix the problem or that the customer clearly didn't need. Like these brake pads. I mean, they could have driven at least another 2,000 inches before they were starting to grind. And the brake rotors, I mean, that pulsating feature, it's relaxing and soothing, especially on those hard stops, the panic stops where you need it the most. So I took it for a little ride. Our pulsation in the brakes is gone. Our squeaking in the brakes is gone. Our washer fluid's still where we put it. And it's nice and cold in the car. So I think we've checked everything off the list and even some stuff that wasn't on the list. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. So they took it to another shop who loaded up the parts cabin.